right. So, hello everybody. This is Laya Gavin with Team EXIT Realty Sun City, and I've got here with me a couple of guests that I want to introduce you to. For those of you who don't know, these are the regional owners for EXIT Arizona. I've got Deanna and Keith Weaver here with me. And because everything that's going on in the marketplace right now, we just wanted to have some conversation about what's real, what's noise, what's news, what's fact, and what's fiction, right, for the real estate market.
Okay.
Because everybody's hearing all these different crazy things. Everybody's getting stuck on the 24-hour news cycle. What I wanted to have a conversation with the two of you about was just what's really happening in the real world, right? So, first of all, kind of tell me from whether it's personal or professional, how have things changed for the two of you in the last couple of weeks since Arizona and the United States have been kind of bombarded with this conversation about COVID-19, which we didn't even know what it was before?
Right. We kind of have, for our agents and our franchisees, it's almost business as usual with the exception of no longer the big gatherings. So we have reached out to all of our franchisees. We've reached out to several agents. We're working with them to see what we can do to help them continue their business as usual.
Mm-hmm.
We're encouraging everybody to talk to their vendors, their preferred partners that they have, to see what kind of tools they have. And our strategic partners are stepping up to the plate. That's what we're seeing. We're all adapting and adjusting to this new way of life.
Okay. So I think one big thing I always want to ask is, so you mean transactions, homes are still being bought and sold, people are still getting keys to their new properties?
Absolutely.
Yep.
So deals aren't just like going up in smoke and people are just forgetting about the whole thing and they're crawling back in a hole?
Not that we've seen. There have been a couple of small delays, and that's more because of the having to adapt and adjust to the non-in-person signings and so on and so forth. So most of our vendors, like I said, have stepped up and they've got the tools in place to do remote signings, to do online notaries. As long as the lender can accept that, we are hearing that more and more. So it's, while we're all technology based, we're really having to embrace it. So if you're a millennial, you're good. For people like me who are technology challenged, it's a bit of a learning curve for me, but I got it.
Excellent. No, I think that's great, because I think what this has done, it's forced us to use the technology that was already available to us.
Yes.
For a lot of us, we had it, we just didn't use it, right?
Correct.
But now it's making some of us go back and do the tutorials and learn how to use it and really put it into practice. And I think it's making our industry catch up with some of the conveniences and the things that are available for clients to take care of transactions that before they were like, maybe we'll do the wet signature, maybe we won't, right?
Right.
But now they're having to be more flexible.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, our corporate EXIT Realty Corp has really stepped up too and reached out to all of our franchisees, all the leadership in all the states, and just basically explain to them what is really going on in the world, which has put a real comfort level back into all the offices. They're encouraging all of the agents to reach out and talk to their clients, both current and even past clients, to see how they're doing. It's a perfect opportunity for any agent to reach out to previous clients and just say, hey, what's going on? How are things going? Are you hanging in there? And that little conversation could spark other things, including more business.
How has that changed for your business operations as far as, everybody used to say, okay, agents come into the office, we're going to have a meeting, or we're going to go over this paperwork, or we're going to go over this information. How have you changed the delivery for that?
Me?
Yeah.
Either one, jump right in.
We're doing a lot more phone calls than we normally do. Deanna and I are people persons, so we like to go out and meet people face to face. But we've been doing a lot of Zoom calls and a lot of using technology to get our message out to people. And just by doing that, it's really changed the way people have reacted to everything that's going on. So we feel that just by staying in touch with them and encouraging them to stay in touch with their business,
Mm-hmm.
that things just will eventually become better.
As leaders, we also have to have that calming effect on people.
Okay.
Even though we're sitting here going, oh my gosh, where are we going to get the toilet paper? Because everybody's out. We have to at least present a calming effect.
Did you find the toilet paper?
We did find the toilet paper. We're so excited.
It is out there. You can find it.
You can find it. Just can't hoard it. So you have to remain calm in these crazy times and find your resources. And there are tons of resources for us, which we're all very excited about. We're so grateful for EXIT Realty Corp International. They have stepped up to the plate. I'm part of Women's Council of Realtors. They've also got a forward-facing website so that there are tons of things that we can do. Reach out to the resources that you do have, and you will fill your days up with so much information, current, good, encouraging information. You don't want to be left behind.
Right, right. I've been seeing video messages from several of the trainers with Exit. Kia
Yes.
Saad was on there talking
Yes.
about how to use this time where you're not in your typical run around full 150% speed as a realtor, but use this time to take care of the pieces of your business that you kind of left on your to-do list
Exactly.
that kept getting pushed back. So
Yeah.
use this time to solidify your business, do your marketing plan, do your business plan, do your your listing presentation, all these pieces that you need to have. Start putting those things in place, because as people start to come back out of COVID-19 mode, transactions will continue to pick up.
Exactly. We're reaching out to all of our partners that we have. We encourage all of our agents to do that. Your business partners include your lenders, your title companies, your home warranty companies, your inspectors, your new home build agents. They're all sitting there. The majority that I have seen, they can no longer, they have to make appointments in order for you to go see the homes. That's part of doing business nowadays. Make the appointment with them, stay far enough away. But yeah, make sure that you're doing that business. Just reach out to them, because they will be your ally in the future.
Okay. So what would you say to that new person who hasn't seen a shift before?
They should be doing exactly what all the seasoned agents should be doing.
What's that?
Reaching out to their sphere of influence, talking to them, finding out what they're doing, how they're doing. Just have general conversation with them, and remind them at the end of the conversation that that they are in real estate, and if there's anything they can do for them or their families or their friends, they would just like the opportunity to have a chat with them, and use technology to meet with them. They don't have to go, because a lot of people are concerned with strangers coming in and contaminating things. Use the technology to reach out and do it. Zoom call. The Zoom has become a very valuable tool that we use here for one-on-one presentations, or conversations, to meeting with 20, 25 agents at a time. And you can do that very easily for free. Zoom has free accounts. As long as your conversations are less than a half an hour, you can reach out to people and use it, and they'll appreciate that. And if you just have 50 people that you reach out to and talk to, one of the 50 will have or know somebody that's ready to buy or sell a house.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a perfect opportunity for you to say, hey, I'd like to have the opportunity to talk to them.
Awesome. I think that was the end of my questions. Let's see. I wanted to know about, I didn't hear what changed for you personally. So you found your toilet paper, but like for life with you and your family, how's that changed?
Less one-on-one contact, really.
Yes.
I have an 88-year-old father who is pretty much isolated, and that's fine. He's going to stay isolated until this is all over with, because even though he is very healthy, that's still a concern for
Sure.
us. We have a 4-year-old granddaughter who we want to keep isolated and keep safe. So, there are things that we're doing with her. So, yeah, we're business is business, and we are here to help everybody. So however we can do that. We did utilize your resources. Security Title just had a Cromford report on that we watched, which was very enlightening. It gave the statistics and how the charts are going up and down, and it's like a roller coaster ride, but it's different than what it was before, and so on and so forth. And any three of us, not me quite as much as the two of you, can talk intelligently about all of those numbers and statistics. But here's what I came away with. We as realtors, this is our time to shine. I thought that was brilliant. We are innovative, we're creative, we're adaptable, and we're responsive to whatever the current situation is. So step up, utilize the tools that you have, come up with some sort of creative way to continue to do your business. And if you need help, Keith and I are here. Laya, I know you're always here for all of not only your agents, but anybody else out there too.
Absolutely.
Use this time to, if you find yourself sitting around looking for stuff to do, use this time to go online and figure out ways to combat the situation. Educate yourself. This is the time to educate yourself. Education is key in this business, and the ones that are educated are the ones that are most successful. And just get out there and absorb as much information as possible. Find these Cromford reports. You may not, if this is your first year in business, you're not going to understand half of what they're talking about, but it will start to sink in. And you'll see that it's not as crazy as the media makes it sound. In fact, we have a fantastic outlook for our market, and when this all blows over, because this is going to be a short-term thing. Now, short-term may be longer than a year, but considering what we just came through with the crash that took 10 years to just rebound to what the prices were before the crash, this is going to be very short-term compared to that. And once the craziness is over and everybody says, oh, wow, we really overreacted to this, and they take a breath, we're going to bounce back probably. That scares me more than anything, because people are going to jump right back into it with everything, throw a lot of money into it, and prices are going to jump, they're going to spike, and then things will come back down and start normalizing again. But let's just all be ready for that when it happens, because that's the opportunity for, as realtors, to make as much money as we can, so we can expect the next downturn, because it will happen. It just, it's not a matter of if, it's when.
Yeah.
And as far as family goes, my mom, who hasn't been on a vacation in 3 years or 4 years, this all happens, and she jumps on a plane and goes to Florida. And now she's on vacation in Florida for 10 days. So I told her she was nuts. She says, "Have you seen how cheap the airline tickets are?" And
now she wants to go out of town.
Yeah. So she went out of town, and she's in Florida visiting my grandmother in Sarasota. So who just turned 94. So
they're having a
great time with masks on. So it's funny. So yeah, my mom decided she was going to jump on a plane and go because the prices were so cheap. So again, taking advantage of the
There's
situation.
opportunity, right?
Yep.
She found the silver lining in the cloud.
Yeah.
But you mentioned the Cromford report and the call we were just on, and I think, like you said, about the opportunity for realtors to be a resource during this whole thing is key. So when you're having those conversations and you're making those calls to past clients or potential clients, or even just family and friends to check on them, it is so key, because we have access as a realtor to information that they don't generally have.
Correct.
Right? They get access to the conversation and I want to say, like, the beauty shop conversations, the barbershop conversation, the coffee shop conversations that is driven by nervousness
and panic,
right?
By Fox News and CNN. That's what it's driven by.
And I think people need to remember that the purpose of the news channels is not so much to share the news, but to create viewership and advertising dollars and sensationalism. So we have to balance what we hear with their full agenda.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah.
And that's where things like the Cromford report, these things, if you just find a vendor that has it, that they're putting it out there, because I know there's more coming up. In fact, I believe there's one next Friday that's coming up. Friday, April 3rd.
Yeah.
Just find out who's doing it, register for it, and just watch it. It's about an hour and a half of fantastic information. Just information that is real, true data that's coming from our industry, not a bunch of lip service.
Hoopla.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The other thing I just saw an interview that Brian Buffini did with Dr.
Mr. Young.
Young.
Mm-hmm.
He's the economist that presents information for the National Association of
Yes.
Realtors,
Right.
among other organizations, and they talked about the data behind what's going on and the expectations as well. And for the real estate market, they talked about how stable it was in home values and the supply and demand, especially in Arizona. Supply is like super, super low. Demand is super, super high. We got a bunch of people relocating here on a daily basis. Property values are solid. And so we're not in a situation like we were in 2008 financial crisis, where it was a bunch of people trying to buy homes, but they weren't trying to live in them. They were just buying investments and trying to see how many they can stack up.
Mm-hmm.
And then when the market flipped back there, it was like, okay, now we got a bunch of people, but they don't want to live in the houses, so we got a bunch of vacant houses, right?
Correct.
And people, it was so easy for people to walk away from.
Right.
But today is completely different than that. We got a bunch of people that need places to live, not enough places. Builders can't keep up, and price values are still holding stable. So for somebody who's thinking about buying right now, or just started looking, and
Right.
a couple months ago, and now this happened, what would you say to that person?
Well, prices are steady. The cash buyers, because they're driven by Wall Street, with the investments from Wall Street, they have sort of gone away. They're not going to disappear completely, but they have gone away. So you as a buyer have more opportunity to get that home that you were looking at last week, where you were competing against a cash buyer last week. They have kind of disappeared in the last few days. If you watch the news, they have disappeared. So now all of a sudden you have a little more leverage because that seller still wants to move. So sellers are still out there, buyers are out there. You just have to be a little more reasonable about pricing the home correctly and being able to buy the home correctly.
Right. I mean, the prices are still going to go up, but they're not going up as dramatically as they did back before the crash.
But are they going down? So if
they're not
I'm a
going
buyer,
down.
should I say, well, I'll wait a little while till
No,
they go down?
they are not going down. And
Okay.
Cromford Report just reaffirmed that they are not going down. But the thing is, the affordability is still there. Houses are more affordable now than they've ever been. Interest rates are still very low. People have seen a small spike in the interest rates, and we were just reaffirmed by the Cromford Report today that the reason they've gone up is not because the federal government is loaning money at higher interest rate, that the lenders have been so inundated with refis that they can't keep up with the demand.
Right.
So they have all gone out and raised the rates for themselves. They're still borrowing money at the cheap rate, but they've raised interest rates just to slow down the people that want to refi their house, make them think for a minute before they just say, give me, let's do an application, just so they can get through the demand that they have right now. They have so much of a backlog, they can't get through it all.
Wow.
And that's the reason the interest rates have jumped up a little bit. And once things just kind of level out a little bit and they get through all this demand that they have, we'll have there's plenty of money out there to go around, and the interest rates will be still very affordable. Even at the slight increase they have, they're still lower than they have been in the past.
Nice.
Yeah. So take advantage. If you're a buyer, take advantage. Reach out to your real estate agent. You may not want to. We do want to self-quarantine or stay away, but you as a real estate agent, now here's your time to shine and get creative. Ask that seller if you can do a video tour to look at this stuff and see if this is something they might like. So get creative with it.
Yeah.
Now's the time to buy. It really is.
I got to tell you, I had turned the FaceTime app off of my phone a year ago because I was like, I'm just sitting on my couch and my phone rings and somebody's FaceTiming me. I didn't want it to be that close. So last week, I had a final walkthrough for a client, and I had to try to video it and do it live with him so he could see it. So I had to figure out how to use my FaceTime again. And I felt bad because my 4-year-old baby cousin is like FaceTiming all the time. And I'm like, if she can do it at 4 and 5, I should be able to do it at over 45. But yeah, technology is right there in
Yes.
in the palm of our hands. So
Yeah.
it is forcing all of us to embrace some of these tools that we had but just didn't use.
Get used to that funny ring on your phone again. It's like, what's that? Why is my phone making this noise? And you look at it, and it's somebody staring at you. It's like, wait a minute, that's FaceTime ringing.
Yeah. That makes me
Embrace technology. Get used to it.
All right. I appreciate your time, you guys. I think you guys
Thank
are, as always, fantastically supportive of your agents and your team and the offices all across Arizona, and not even just across Arizona, across the country and EXIT. I know there are many other franchise owners and regional owners that say, hey, let me just call Keith and Deanna. Got a quick question. Let me just ask them. If they don't know, they know who I should talk to.
Absolutely.
And you're very active with the Women's Council of Realtors. This year, you've stepped up to the plate as governor. For the state of Arizona, for the Women's Council of Realtors. And so we just appreciate what you do.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
We appreciate you. Now's our time to shine. That's going to be my hashtag. Now's our time to shine.
Ooh, I like it. All right, thanks. Let's see. Let's see how much of that kept or if it froze up and we just didn't record any of that. It'll be great and we can do it all again. Second take, Keith. You ready?
I'm ready.
There you go.